first of all, the event, you gave it a 7 out of 10. Why just?
Just 7? I think the only way you get to 10 is with Steve Jobs, but since he's not there, I just felt they did a good job. There was too many things. During the event, you felt that there was good parts and they were lagging in some places, so I felt the pacing was a little off. But from a product standpoint, this was a solid upgrade, so hence the 7 from my side.
So this is an iPhone company. Let's start with the iPhones. I went into the demo room. I got to try out the 2 new phones. I saw the rose gold. I think I might like that color. But what do you think? You know, it's not a huge design change, Ben, but you know, there are some little things that are significant.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of interesting things. Like when you look at their product line, obviously people will look at it and say they look the same, and even Apple said, you know, but they've really redesigned everything. And so that starts again with the chip. I think things they're doing in the chipset to bring about either faster capabilities, some of the games that they demoed, which when you see them, you're like, I can't believe those games are happening on a phone. Even the camera things you've talked about, a lot of that's being driven by those hardware changes, right? And all of those features from live photos to even just the 3D touch, that's not on other iPhones, right? And so you look at what's unique about the phone, and I would say, you know, it's not just a typical S-year upgrade. I think they did so much to this product that makes it stand out. And important for that is it's not just appealing anymore to Apple owners today, it's appealing to switchers. I think that the trend that we're seeing even in our data, that they're seeing record number of Android switchers, means that those features are now prepared and into place to position and cater to new users for the first time.
So let's talk about some of the features. Let's start with the cameras. The front and back camera both got an upgrade. There's this new live photo thing. Your screen will serve as flash if you want to take a selfie, which I like. But Nikhil, you know, what strikes you about the new cameras?
So one thing to think about is that for the last 4 generations, Apple hasn't upped the megapixels, right? So since the iPhone 4S, they've been doing 8 megapixels, but at the same...
Now it's 12.
Now it's 12. So, but 4 years is a long time to go without a spec bump. What a lot of people don't see is every generation adds new sophisticated software and image processing technology, and that's why the pictures keep getting better. So 12 is such a meaningful number because it's 50% more pixels, and they've been able to cram 50% more pixels into the same sensor size. So they've advanced sensor technology to be able to do that.
You, I think, love pictures more than anybody at this table. What do you think about the new camera technology? How significant is it? When I tried out the live photos in the demo room, I was really excited about it when I thought of my kids, but it's kind of like a glorified GIF.
Right. I think the thing about the camera, or whatever Apple does with the iPhone, is basically if you are a company which makes products which are not high-end, you're kind of out of business. I think Nintendo Wii is in trouble. I think all the point-and-shoot cameras should that market is all going to the smartphone, and this is probably better than my RX 100 right now, the new iPhone 6 Plus. Can't wait to try it. Right, it is that good. The live, it's a little hokey. I mean,
I think it'll get better.
But people like those kind of little gimmicks, and I think there is something to it. Like the quality of the images is far superior than I've ever seen from my RX 100, for example.
What about the Force Touch? Well, it's called 3D Touch. I'm not quite sure why they changed the name when it comes to the iPhone, because they call it Force Touch when it comes to the watch, but this is a whole new way of interacting with your phone. So, for example, you can still tap to open an email, but if you press on it a little bit more deeply, it opens more shortcuts to the email. I mean, how dramatic is this?
I think, you know, when you look at what they've done, there hasn't been any huge upgrades to, you know, multi-touch, right? All these gestures that they've brought for really some time. And this is kind of the first big upgrade, or the new interaction level being brought to multi-touch. So that's why I think that's significant, particularly when you look back on multi-touch and remember that developers took advantage of that, right? Developers wrote apps and began to create new ways that we interact with their software through these new, you know, gesture paradigms that Apple brought. And now with Peek and Pop being kind of 2 of those, and I would expect more would come, those are now, you know, things that developers can take advantage of, and most importantly, do things really quickly, right? Just getting to deeper layers of an app without going into the app, right, was a good example. So eliminating 5 clicks, do it with 1 click, right? Those little conveniences, they add up, they save time, and they're nice.
How dramatic is this, Nikhil, from an engineering perspective, in terms of the technology to make this all work?
Well, the technology for pressure sensing has existed for a while, but to be able to take that and mass produce it and fine-tune it so the user experience comes out great, I think that's the challenge. And Apple's consistently been great at that.
All right, so overall, are these updates going to drive sales? I mean, they had, 74.5 million phones shipped in the last holiday quarter. I've been told there's just no way they can beat that.
I think it will. I mean, again, I think
they will?
I think they're, again, from our data and the research that we're doing on these markets, it's just staggering numbers of people considering switching to the iPhone. Right? I think the market is maturing to a point where those who entered with low-end phones are looking to move up. And again, they're ceiling in China. I just don't think people really fully grasp how big that opportunity is. And they keep making the point, right? 27% of the base is upgraded today. By the end of this quarter, it's probably 35-ish%. Still a huge number. So it's not just their existing base. It's, again, they're selling to new users in ways they never did before. And so I think all those things compound, So we're pretty bullish it's going to be a big quarter.
All right.